Okay.
6 o'clock.
It's now broadcasting to all attendees. Okay, and let me move this to Facebook. Hi, Susie. No, hang on. No. Log out. Okay, now do it. Okay. Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. We are going to be talking, well, let me give the introduction as soon as we get everybody live on Facebook Live as well. You are the special attendees. Okay. Go live. Just taking a minute to get started. Okay, we are definitely on. Gilbert is here. There we go. And I think we're ready.
All right. Awesome.
Okay, everybody. So we're starting today. Kathy's going to be doing some unicorns. So if you got any questions, absolutely tell me about them. So put them in the Q&A or just put them in, hey, Gilbert, put them in the chat window on Facebook Live, and we'll do that. And great. So without further ado, let's get started.
All right, let's go. So I guess we can jump right in. Let me make sure I can see this video. Okay. So when I do unicorns, there's two, I guess, main designs for unicorns. One, which is the horn that goes like right here, and then you have like designs around the sides of it. And then one is like the actual unicorn, like a whole unicorn face. So let's do the horn first, because that one's a little bit easier, I think. All right, so clean my brush. Now I'm going to use Romantic Rose, which looks like maybe a 1/2-inch chisel brush. Yeah, I think it's about a 1/2 inch. And this one is a paint pot brush. And I'm going to get this flick cake from the Craze Effects palette. And I'm gonna get the lighter color on the top. Okay. So now I'm gonna start like right about there and push down and to the side and continue underneath, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do about 3. That looks like a good size unicorn horn.
So the trick is right, just to create a 3D image, right? I mean, because the horn's supposed to come out of your head.
Right. So by putting the light color on top and the darker one on the bottom, you create a little bit of a shadow, which makes it look a little more 3-dimensional than if you just did one solid colored triangle here. Okay, so now I'm going to grab, hold on a second. I'm gonna grab a 1-inch chisel brush. And I like to use this short one. This one has shorter bristles than a traditional chisel brush.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you a little bit more control over what you're doing.
Just because somebody's going to ask, which brushes are you using?
Oh yeah, this is PaintPal also.
Okay.
This one's called an Arty Angle.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, let me do the ears first. So for the ears, I'm gonna do a number 6 swirl PaintPal brush. I'm just gonna load it with white.
Okay.
And the ears are really simple. You're just kind of creating 2 triangle shapes right above the eyebrows. Okay, they don't have to be perfect because you're gonna, you know, draw over them and outline them, and the designs will be all around with the split cakes. So here we go. Here's my chisel brush. And I'm going to, what color should I use? Let's use this blue. This is a really cute blue. All right, so we're gonna use this blue. And again, I'm gonna have the light on top.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna use a color that's not too similar to the color that you did your horn, because you want them to kind of contrast each other.
Mm-hmm.
So that it doesn't just look like one blob in the middle of the forehead.
Right.
Okay, so you're gonna start maybe like right there.
Mm-hmm. Anybody have any problem with the sound or picture or anything?
Let's see. So from right here, I'm gonna push down and come right in front of the horn, overlap it a little bit, and then down again. Like I made like a little S shape here.
Mm-hmm.
And you're giving the illusion that the hair, this is hair, kind of wraps around the horn and then comes down to the front. So after you've done that and you're happy with it, you're gonna add some more to the sides. Now these shapes are, they could be whatever you want them to be. They're kind of like little unicorn hairs, I guess, on the sides of the ears. So that's a little shape. They kind of look like butterfly wings almost.
Okay.
And let's do the inside of the ears in the same color we did the horns. So I'm just gonna take the same brush with the split cake and drag just the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just rotating the bottom to fill in that space. There we go. And now this is the point where you'd add your glitter before you start doing the outline.
And where would you put the glitter?
I probably would just put it everywhere because I usually use this puff.
Poofable bottle?
Yeah. So it just kind of goes wherever. Tell them to close their eyes, of course, because you don't want those getting in their eyes. And just poof it wherever, and it'll land. Now you're going to do an outline for the horn. So you're going to light pressure on the top. And as you come down around, you're going to add a little bit more pressure to keep the line heavier towards the bottom of the swirl.
Mm-hmm.
Do the same thing. And then one more like that. And now you're going to come around to outline the lock of hair in the front.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just using the skinny brush that comes with the Craze Effects split cake palette.
Wow.
Okay, so we're gonna follow this down toward the bottom. I need to make my paint a little bit more wet. Okay. There we go. So now by doing these lines over here, I'm adding a little bit more dimension to this hair.
Mm-hmm.
Because then we can come back in toward the end and add some highlights to make it even more, you know, 3D and lifelike.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm just gonna outline the ears. You want to use really light pressure. You don't want to have this area be too heavy. And if you add really thick black, it adds a lot of weight to their faces, especially for the really tiny kids. Okay, so now for these over here, I don't outline those in black. I usually just add some teardrops and dots and swirls, little embellishments in white. So I'm gonna start here, lay the brush down, and come around in almost like a half circle.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna continue doing that in various areas.
Like if you guys have any questions, just post them on the Q&A on the webinar or in Facebook, in the chat window and Facebook Live, and I'll ask Kathy. Any problems you guys have with unicorns or any questions you guys have about unicorns? One other thing I should mention is she's using Craze palette, and we've got a sale over on FacePaintcom that we're doing for just this event. So that will be in the spirit of our last one, Kathy V20.
Oh yeah.
So you
Adrian, stop.
Oh, that sounds bad. That sounds bad.
Yeah, you know when they want milk, they want it right now.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so I'm just gonna add a couple more teardrops around here to fill in the space. And I also, for unicorns, I like to add the little starbursts.
Uh-huh.
Makes them look twinkly and magical. So you start in the middle and you make short I guess, flicks out from the center of each dart first. Here we go. You just want to make sure that your lines are really, really skinny. They come to nice little points on the outsides.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then for a little bit of added magic, I use liquid bling. This is gold. Just to the outlines over here in the horn.
Mm-hmm.
And highlight. I'm gonna highlight this a little bit. When you're doing highlights for this, try to keep your brush a little bit dry so that your highlights aren't too bold or watery. You want them to kind of fade the edges into, you know, your design. So, come on, here we go. So that's one version of a unicorn you can do.
Okay. And what do you call this unicorn?
I don't know. I would call it like the horn only, because usually if I'm asking the kids what do they want, it'll be like, do you want to be a unicorn or do you want a unicorn on your face? So this is like, if you want to be a unicorn, this is what you get.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And so how long would that have taken you if you weren't trying to show all of us how to do it?
Maybe 3-4 minutes.
Okay. So doable.
Yeah. And also, which looks really good and they usually like a lot, is the eyeshadow.
Okay.
So, oops, I got some blue in here. This you would do probably before your blue.
Uh-huh.
But I just thought about it. If you feel like the space looks a little bit empty, or you want them to be like really like, wow, this is amazing. And you add makeup, and everybody is always super excited to get makeup on their face. So there we go.
That looks great.
The horn unicorn. And you can mix up the colors. You can mix up the shapes over here. You can add some dots if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Throw some dots over here. You know, it's not an exact science.
It's art, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. However you're feeling that day.
Exactly.
All right, so that one's done. Let me get it off. And then I'm sure you guys probably saw the other unicorn that I was doing earlier today. So we're gonna do this one next.
Okay.
And this one is like, if you want a unicorn on your face, this is the one you do. So this is like the base design, which you can add a whole bunch of things around it depending on, you know, what they asked for or what kind of unicorn you want to give them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can dress up that unicorn to make it into a full face or a cheek design.
What?
My sister-in-law was watching watching my video on the webinar, sitting right next to me.
Any comments?
I don't know. She's not a face painter, so she's just watching it to see what I'm doing.
There you go.
Okay, so now I'm going to take this same romantic rose brush, and I'm going to go into the blue again. I like to use blue for my unicorn, like, bodies, faces.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know why. I feel it looks like what's that My Little Pony that's blue and has the rainbow?
Oh.
I keep forgetting.
I'll try to figure it out. If anybody you guys know, that'd be great.
I know somebody knows. So she's like super popular. I'm just really terrible with names. I don't know. I know one of them is Pinkie Pie, but that's not the one that's blue.
Where's My Little Pony characters?
He's like the head My Little Pony, like the manager of the My Little Pony. Rainbow Dash. Thank you. Rainbow Dash.
Rainbow Dash. There we go.
Yeah, so this one kind of looks like Rainbow Dash a little bit with the blue skin and the rainbow hair.
There we are. Someone wrote that as well on the chat window.
Oh, thank you, Marielle. So for this one, you're going to start with the top of the head. And again, I use the blue and I put the darker blue toward the longer side of my brush so that it becomes the outline. When you're using a chisel brush with an angle, whatever color you have towards the longer side becomes your outline.
Okay.
So let's start with the forehead. I'm gonna make kind of like a round shape here. And then we're gonna square off the nose a little bit. Bring it back. And then back around to close the head. So if you can see that.
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy's a little chubby because my paint was running a little bit. Let me go over it one more time.
Don't take that out.
Okay. So now I'm going to come back into the ear in the back right here and just close the back of the head like that. So now after that, I'm going to come from right where the ear ended and just come down this way to the neck. Let me move this over just a little bit. And then turn my brush around. So now the dark blue's on the outside. And just bring it back. So he's like kind of turning his head a little bit. You want to make sure that the cheek area is overlapping the neck that's in the back. So after that, you're going to go straight over with some white for the eye. Now there's a whole bunch of different kinds of eyes you can do. I like, my personal favorite is this one right here. You can, let's see. Let me see if I can do a quick. Eye tutorial. We have some white, and I'm just gonna take this brush. This is the other brush that came with the split cake kit for the Crazy Effects. And I'm gonna let's grab some.
Thank you for the shout out.
Let's see, so I just grabbed some purple. And so here is the one that I have down here. This one, I'm gonna do this one on the top. And then this one is here. I'm doing one that's a little different down here. And then, oh, I forgot this one. This one's also popular. It's like a little anime eye.
So you're going through the different eye shapes for Mariel?
Huh?
Mariel asked for all sorts of different eye shapes that you could do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. You read my mind. Yeah. People say I'm psychic sometimes, you know?
Do they really?
No, but that happens a lot where someone's like, I was just thinking of you and you called me, or you knew exactly what I was going to say just now.
There you go.
That's a lot. Okay, so let's do a few different eyes here. So this black one is probably the easiest because you see it on the little characters, like those tiny little foam, like those clay people that they make.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a big black eye, like the eye is just black. And then you have like the two big dots. So I'm gonna put one here so you can see like the kind of faces that I'm talking about. And they have super high little cheekbones that are usually in pink, but I have purple, so I'm using purple. And then their teeny tiny little mouths are also really high like that. And sometimes they have little eyelashes. So those are the eyes from those little tiny plush characters. Like little anime, really cute, kawaii. Here is the one that I did down here. So you're gonna outline first, give her a nice wing liner, because she's fancy, and make the bottom line really thin, and you're not really gonna connect it. You could if you wanted to, but that's gonna be this one I'm gonna connect. And then you're gonna fill in the front pupil area. You can leave a space for the white, but you don't have to because you're gonna come over it with white anyway. And then you're gonna outline the back like that. I'm gonna give her an extra eyelash. She's extra fancy today. And I'm gonna come back with the white. And I'm just gonna brighten this up and put another one right next to it. Make sure that your paint underneath is dry before you start doing this, or else you're gonna end up with the same issue I just had where it starts to kind of mix up a little bit.
Word to the wise.
Yeah, but that's an easily fixable issue. So here we go. So this eye is pretty much the same as this one down here. Then you have like a really cartoony kind of eye. This one is kind of like Minnie Mouse almost. Minnie Mouse has these really like elongated cartoon eyes. My paint is still not completely dry. Okay, so for these eyes, you can cut them kind of in half for like a low eyelid. Make the pupil, and then you have the color on the side. And then you always just come back and add the tiny little highlights like that. So there's another. And here's the third one. There's like a million different designs of eyes you can do, just a few of them. This one is closed all the way.
So is the goal of the eye to make it look more feminine, or?
You could. Or, well, yeah, kind of the ones that I have here are all kind of feminine. But if you were going to do a masculine eye, let me change this one to a more masculine eye. This is the eye shape that I usually do for like my sharks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can make him angry. So if he's going to be angry, it looks kind of like a triangle. Anything that you have coming forward like this at an angle looks like a triangle is going to be an angrier kind of eye. If you have an eyebrow that's coming like this way, backwards, and the eye is like this, they're going to look more sad and more like, you know, oh man. Here's the other one for that. So you can see what I'm talking about. He kind of looks like he's sorry. So here, a little bit of purple. And this that's like an angry shark eye.
Okay.
And then, oops. You can do the same eye that I have on the bottom without the winged eyeliner flick. And that can be a perfectly acceptable boy or more masculine eye. So this one is pretty much the same style as this one, except this one doesn't have the flick. So it doesn't look as feminine as the other one does.
Right. Interesting.
So there's a few, you know, eye shapes. Now we can get back to this one. Now this is going to be dry by now. And I'm just going to add the purple right here. And very, very lightly come around on the top and the bottom. There we go. This one I added outline around the, what would you call that? The highlight on the eye. So it looks more like Sailor Moon. I don't know if you guys saw Sailor Moon. Well, they had like super huge like highlights in their eyes and everything was real big and sparkly. So that's what that one looks like. I'm going to add some hair now. This little top guy. Let's use pink. So I'm gonna get an even smaller chisel brush. This one's called Beautiful Butterfly. And I'm just going to load it up. With the white on the top.
Okay.
All right, so now I'm gonna do the little forelock on the top. And you're gonna hold the brush kind of at an angle like that. You're gonna bring it around and push down as you come this way and then rotate so you end in a point. So it's just the shape that looks like this. You're gonna come around, push down, and that way. Oh, let me get some more paint on this brush. Okay. Hold it at an angle, push down, rotate your brush as you're pushing down like this, so that when you come down, you end it at a point. And then I'm gonna come around here and I'm gonna stick kind of close to the body of our unicorn and just bring a little bit around where the mane is.
Now, isn't that off their face?
Hmm?
Or isn't that part above off their face, or no?
No, this is not, this is just to show you the shape.
Okay, sure, okay.
That's not, yeah, that's not part of the design.
You don't want to do another hair.
And here, I'm gonna come down right at this point before the chin and the neck touch. I'm just gonna lay my brush down and make like a little backward C. So here you have the illusion that the hair is coming from around the neck and coming towards the front like that. So now when I usually do these, I don't draw out the unicorn horn. I'll just add a few dots of the glitter from the liquid bling. And that'll make a horn by itself, and it saves a lot of time trying to do the individual swoops that you would do with the,
Right.
you know, the big horn that we did first.
Yeah.
And they always like it a lot more because it's glitter, of course. So now that you have this base unicorn, I'm going to show you what you can do next to it. So, let's use a rainbow. So a lot of times when I'm doing unicorns, you'll add wings to them. Because I guess a Pegasus is in the same family. So here I'm just gonna load my brush. This is the same one I was using in the beginning, the Arty Angle brush, the short one. And just go back and forth, load up a rainbow. Okay, so now we'll do some wings. So you're gonna start with a line like this. You're gonna bring it down, wiggle it around a little bit to create an outline, and then back in. Cover that part here. And then you're gonna come down a little bit further for the bottom wing. Wiggle it around a little bit, and then come back up. There we go. So there's one side.
Okay. And so which one's more popular, the trying to make them a unicorn or trying to
I would say probably this one, the one that I'm doing now. Because
okay.
it's like there's a little more detail going on here. This one does take a little bit longer because anytime you're drawing like a character, it's gonna take a little longer than just doing the shape. So here we have the other one. You're gonna bring the line here, push the brush down, you're wiggling and you're rotating at the same time. So here, I did that one a little bit longer than this one, so let's try to make it even. There we go. So here is the unicorn with like wings.
Okay.
And now all you really need to do is outline and add your embellishments. So I'm going to lightly outline her. I see a lot of the girls who I train make the mistake of putting the unicorn's mouth down here, like where the chin goes, when it should be right in the middle of this nose area. So you put it here, you can make a big smile, and then comes the cheek part. But if you put it down here, it looks kind of weird, like the unicorn has no chin. So I say just remember to keep it right up here. Now really lightly, really quickly, just outline this area.
And so how long would that have taken you?
This one probably takes longer than the other. So I'd say like, maybe like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Depending on how intricate this part is.
Okay.
So now you're getting into the designs. You can leave it like this if this is how you're feeling that day. You don't have to do a whole bunch of like elaborate embellishments over. Me personally, I feel like it looks a little bit empty. So I'm just going to add some teardrops and some swirls around here. So I'm going to start with a big teardrop right at the top of the wing. I'm going to come with, what would you call that? I don't know.
Top of the wing. I don't know. Top of the wing, I guess. I can't come up with anything.
And then put some teardrops here. Here we have this shape, which is a teardrop. Then you're kind of wiggling the sides down and you're dropping another kind of teardrop shape right there. And now I'm going to come down from the bottom over here to do the same kind of shape that we did when we were doing the other unicorn. Do a couple of these kind of teardrops. And you all want to come in towards the focal point, which is right here. And see how all the lines, if I was to keep going with all these lines, they'd eventually meet like in this general area. So that's the focal point for the wings of this unicorn. And I'm just gonna add some dots here. Again, when you're doing dots, make sure that your paint is pretty wet because it'll make them come out a lot more rounder than it would if your paint was dry. So there's one side. Now I'm gonna quickly do the other side. If you're having trouble getting like a real crisp, thin line when you're doing your teardrops, try rotating the brush a little bit, like this. And it helps to bring your lines to a nice crisp point.
Yeah, that looks a lot more sophisticated.
Yeah, this one takes a little bit more practice to get, you know, a good handle on. Okay, so I'm gonna come in here again. Sorry, I'm trying to paint around my phone holder. So that's why I might be holding this at a weird angle. And let's put some dots. There we go.
Well, there you go. Awesome.
So here, oh wait, let me do the little highlights. So, oh man, I put my finger in it. The struggles of being a lefty. Okay, so just over the high points, add some highlights. You want your brush to be kind of dry. There you go. Oh, I think I just got a mosquito bite. Okay. There we go.
That's awesome.
Yes, there's definitely a fine line between too many highlights and too little. So first, this is why you want to make sure your brush is kind of dry, because if it's wet, it can leave like super bold, sometimes drippy highlights. And you know, that's not really the look that you're going for most of the time. So if you use a really skinny brush like this one, You make sure that it's pretty dry. And you only highlight where you would imagine the sun would be hitting it. So let's say, you know, the sun is somewhere up here. This would get hit first. This would get hit first, this area. And then I also usually just do the tops of everything else really lightly. And less is more. So
Mariel asked, how do you know what to highlight? I feel there's a fine line, too much highlights and too little. So I don't know. It's a judgment call, right?
Yeah, so just with practice. If you feel like it's too much, you could always go in with the same split cake that you use and kind of like clean it up a little bit. But this is, here's another, hold on, wait. There we go, that's what it's supposed to look like.
There you go.
Okay,
so
here's another version of the unicorn. Now, I'm going to keep our middle guy here and just take off.
Oh, Christy says it's International Left Hand Day.
Yes, it is today.
Who knew? Well, people from the left that have left hands.
Yeah, I heard it on the radio this afternoon.
Yeah, okay.
My fellow lefties.
So I got a question for the people that are watching. We're planning to do sea creatures next in about 2 weeks. What do you guys think?
Yeah, if you have any suggestions for sea creatures, I was planning on doing like dolphins, sharks, maybe a jellyfish, or a seahorse. You can do really nice seahorses with split cakes. What else?
Another lefty.
Okay, so this is gonna be a simpler, a faster version, because you know my designs are all about speed, because I'm usually having to deal with a high volume of children in a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, seahorse.
Oh yeah, seahorse.
Seahorse, octopus.
Yeah, octopi are so cute. Okay, so for this one's gonna be super simple. You're just gonna kind of take your split cake and you're gonna go like this around the top of the left eye, and then you're gonna come around here, the bottom of the right eye. You'd spritz your glitter poof on it while the paint is still wet. And then you just add a couple of teardrops and you'd be done. So this one's like a super, super quick one. Let me come around here. Ooh, my paint is a little wet. You see, that's what happens when you don't wait for your paint to dry. It starts to bleed into the other colors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, so that's why you gotta be careful. But you know, we're almost done here. So I'm just trying to squeeze those in. So this one would be like a unicorn mask, basically. Because it goes kind of around the eyes.
Oh, another question was somebody. So Mariel wants to see a dark unicorn.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's do something a little more masculine.
And Christy asked, what was the glitter used on the horn?
This is Liquid Bling by American Body Art. You can get it at FacePaintcom. This one is gold.
Yeah, give you a link.
Everything I'm using here, you can get at FacePaintcom, including this practice board and this brush holder. All right, maybe you can see right here. Yeah. The brush gecko. All right, so this is another really fast one. That was a lot faster than the one with the wings.
Right. Yeah. Because that's always the challenge, right? You got a long line of kids.
Yeah. All right, so let's do one more for masculine design. So, and it's also a lot about the colors that you use. So I'm going to stick with the blue for the...
We're sold out of the gold. Ooh, that's no good. Oh, you're using the opal, right?
Huh?
The bling, you're using the opal for the bling?
For the liquid bling and gold, yeah. Brilliant gold.
Okay.
Okay. So,
do you have, Myrtle was asking, do you have an issue with glitter transfer to other paint cakes after you poof it on and then paint over it?
not usually. Sometimes that happens, but I don't find it's like a huge issue. Usually because I'll poof and then the only thing left to do is black. So the only thing that would really get glitter transferred to it is the black. And you don't see it that much in the black anyway. So if it was, I probably wouldn't notice. All right, so we're gonna start with the forehead. You can come down this way.
Hello, Maria.
Yeah. I'm just gonna fill in this area with the back of my brush. And the ears. And this time, we're going to do a different color for the mane. So for a more masculine unicorn, you could do something like with green hair, like a leaf colored kind of split cake like this one. But I'm gonna go with fire because boys really love that too. Okay, so I'm gonna load this one up. And you're gonna do a similar kind of hair design for the boy-ish unicorn. But we're gonna come, oh, you know what, I forgot his head, his neck.
Uh-oh, that ain't gonna work.
We have a necklace unicorn right here, guys.
A hornless unicorn wouldn't be even a unicorn.
Yeah, hold on. 1 second. All right. So now, if you're not familiar with the shape of fire, it goes kind of like this, and then around, and you're kind of making like waves almost.
Mm-hmm.
Top of your brush. So like this. Like that. So we're going to kind of do that with the hair on this unicorn. So we're going to come here.
Oh yeah, Gabby, you're very welcome. Thank you for your question. More question. People like sea creatures. Yeah, they like the idea of that.
Awesome. So we're going to do the back of this unicorn's mane, kind of like hair. I mean, kind of like fire. And then we can come sort of in the front a little bit, as if his hair was overlapping. kind of like that. Okay. Do the eye. And then instead of teardrops and, you know, swirls and things like that, we can go a little bit more tribal with the embellishments.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Let's see. Right here. So here we have a more masculine eye without the eyeliner.
So, Vera wants to know about your nails.
Oh, I
What
do
shape is it
myself.
that you, if you don't mind me asking?
What does she want to know about them?
What shape are they?
Oh, these are coffin shape. I do dip powder. This is ombre dip powder. Yeah, with some crystals on it. Let's see. So now here, the shape that you're gonna do with most tribal, you're gonna do like a bunch of C's. You're gonna do some O's, and you're gonna do a lot of lines. So the trick is to keep the same distance between your lines and keep it consistent. So we're gonna have some lines going down this way, like that. Here, let's do one here. It doesn't have to be exactly the same.
Do boys request unicorns a lot?
With me, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You get it like every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of boys who request butterflies and rainbows.
Okay.
And I'm all, you know, more power to you for choosing something that a lot of people wouldn't normally think is boy related. But I think we need to stop putting labels on, you know, a butterfly. It's an insect. Like I'll have a lot of parents who get upset if their child is face painted with a butterfly, if he's a boy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's a bug. Let him get a butterfly.
Yeah.
Or a unicorn or whatever, you know. Just let them express themselves how they like to express themselves.
Always a good idea. We once did a downloadable with, we thought we were going to be clever and do boys and girls designs, and then everybody just said, stop doing it. Because it's not that like that.
Yeah, it's easy to categorize the designs like that so people know what you're talking about. But like as far as painting goes, you shouldn't really limit the kids that you're painting
Mm-hmm.
to whatever, you know, gender norms people set forth. Okay, so here's some more. You can outline this a little bit
I think we're
too.
coming to our end times.
Yep. Let me just finish this up real quick.
So, everybody, we're planning to do the next one on the 28th of August. Same bat time, same bat channel. And we'll send out emails and everything for that. And again, if you want to go try out Craze FX, hot off the press, just got it in the warehouse a couple weeks ago. And so please try it out. So go to FacePaint.com and look at my wonderful brand page. I'm very excited about our brand page for Craze. And I really appreciate you guys coming, and thank you, Kathy, for coming.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you liked our unicorn designs. Let me throw his horn in here real quick before we go. And there's a little boy unicorn. Just put fire and tribal on it. The guys will love it.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, that looks good. So we've covered unicorns today. Next time, sea creatures. Oh, will you find this webinar for the replay? Gabby, we're gonna post it on. It's been posted on Facebook Live, so you can see it there on FacePaintcom's Facebook page.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and this could also be a cheek unicorn if you add some flowers here and a little bit of, teardrops. This could easily be a cheek unicorn for somebody who doesn't want their whole face painted. Yeah, absolutely. So thanks, Gabby. Thanks, Christy. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you tuning in. We'll keep doing this series. If you guys got other ideas, please let us know on Facebook or whatever way. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Have a good evening. Everybody.